Wonderful, this is the end. Probably almost most pirates taken. Burrow alone remains the last gay biker mouse in Anal Town now. Big mistake, the last wave grabs him just like Rue, and both biker mice are kidnapped. Anal Town is finished, but they're not dead. They'll live on somewhere out there, so maybe one day they'll return. Maybe next time they'll be nomads, or no bikes, who knows. Well, look who's back. Rue and Burrow have escaped slavery. They're angry and hardened, but they're no longer biker mice, but nomads now. That means once they build up a base, they'll abandon it, move on and start again. Always wandering, and this time things are different. No more keeping the colony exclusive after what they've been through. Rue and Burrow are recruiting anyone and everyone, because now it's all about revenge, to kill every pirate in existence. I know, a lot of you hate wooden bases, but here it's necessary. Think of it as disposable once the raiders burn it down. That's our cue to move, a built-in relocation system. This first settlement is temporary anyway. The goal is to get Rue and Burrow out of the nude phase into proper clothes made. Mousekin clothes, by the way, not just things you pick up from other raiders. Crank out some weapons and stockpile enough food to travel. To make sure they don't drop dead in the first raids, I am lining the place with wooden spike traps. Our first threat as nomads, a mad squirrel. Truly the deadliest of Rimworld wildlife. Since no one actually has a weapon yet, I line Rue and Burrow up behind the spike trap. The squirrel charges and the trap triggers, and that's that. The squirrel is instantly killed and the problem is solved. Then comes our first raid. The Trust Me Union. Our defenses are ready. A neat row of spike traps. The raider is carrying a steel knife, which means if we drop him, it will be our first weapon. I dropped Rue and Burrow as bait, pulling the raider into the traps, and Burrow takes a hit, but the raider stumbles into the second trap and goes down. Burrow patches himself up. We strip the raider and the colony has its first weapon, a poor steel knife. Unfortunately for the local wildlife, Rue needs melee training, so Rue starts killing small critters. Most go down fast, but a rabbit actually fights back and manages to land a hit. Apparently, Cassandra takes offense at critter abuse because the very next event is a walk-hunting Burrow. It almost kills him, but in the process, both mice get melee levels fast, and together, they take it down, but the price? Days in bed to recover, which they don't seem to mind because the moment they crawl under the sheets, they immediately start having sex. The wildlife isn't done with us. As soon as Rue and Burrow recover, Cassandra sends a mad muffalo. That would kill us if we engage it, so the plan is simple. Hide in the house until the beast gets tired and goes to sleep. Problem solved. I then send Burrow to strip a transport pod crash survivor, not for rescue, just for clothes. And we finally have clothes at least, but they're tattered, so we still need to wait until we can make them. After the wildlife, Cassandra sends raid. Just one raider with a steel club. What are you doing? We need another weapon for Burrow. Fucking idiot. When the raider reaches the base, Burrow almost screws it up and I get mad at him, but somehow he baits the enemy straight into a spike trap. Rue finishes the job the old-fashioned way, stabbing the raider to death, but now we have a steel club. Oh my god, it's like Cassandra actually answered my prayers. A raider shows up with a real weapon, a pike, and Mousekin clothes, which would have been a huge upgrade, and then RNG Jesus doubles down. Visitors arrive at the same time and do the job for us. The raider's dead now. The campfire is smashed by the raider, but that's easy enough to rebuild. We get the weapons. It's been a while since we first settled here, and Cassandra finally tosses us a quest, hosting a friend. Basically, a visitor will stay for 15 days, contributing absolutely nothing. No work, no hauling, no fighting, and they just exist. But hey, it gives us a clear timer. 15 days to see how far we can push this settlement before we pack up and move to another one. Another quest pops up, paid forced weather. It's just a thunderstorm, but honestly, that's fine. If Cassandra throws a raid at us, at least the rain will stop the place from catching fire. Meanwhile, we finish a wall around the settlement, not for us mind you, but to keep our freeloading visitor alive. The walls lined with spike traps too on the entrances, so if anyone actually does try to raid us, they might have a very bad time. Then Cassandra tosses us another quest, the Ambushed Praetor. The deal is simple. Keep the Praetor safe while a manhunting raccoon chases him. I accept, obviously, it's practically free. The raccoon immediately impales itself on a spike trap. The Praetor hops back on his shuttle and we get 8 honor for Burrow Digger. That's enough for him to earn a shiny new title. Novice. Wonderful. What's this? A manhunter pack of squirrels. They rush into the colony only to impale themselves instantly on the spike traps. It's so dark in game, we barely even notice them die. A few days later, we finally say goodbye to Tomcare as she's whisked off into a shuttle back to her home. Honestly, good riddance as she only ate our food and absolutely did nothing for us, but her departure is our signal. With the freeloader gone, it's time for Rue and Burrow Digger to start preparing to leave this settlement behind and continue their nomadic life. However, fate clearly doesn't want us to leave just yet. A group of refugees arrive and of course we accept them. Their presence buys us time. Rue can now focus on research, sharpening his intellect, while refugees handle the dirty work of fighting raiders. Ironically, just after the refugees arrive, Cassandra delivers a raid. The raiders are carrying a great bow. Perfect, I think. They'll fast-track Rue and Burrow Digger into ranged combat. The raider charges, then our nomads and the refugees hold the line. Krista, one of the refugees, even flexes a combat ability, Grapple. She locks him down while Rue and Burrow Digger shoot him with arrows until he collapses. We strip him, take the bow, feeling victorious, then I realise both nomads already have bows, so never mind. It's not long before the next raid. This time one of them has a revolver, exactly what Burrow Digger needs, but to get it, the refugees are going to have to earn their keep. The plan is simple: use Krista and Duncan as cover, pin out the melee leader first, and then pile everyone onto the revolver guy. Krista grapples the melee raider and kills him. Duncan tackles the other, and finally Burrow Digger drives an arrow straight into the gunman's head. The revolver has been acquired, and the mission is accomplished, and with that we can start planning our next move and abandon the refugees. Oh, Cassandra, how I love you. First a fire breaks out in the refugee's bedroom, then, as if scripted, a grizzly bear mauls Krista to death. Duncan doesn't take it well. She goes violent in grief, only to immediately impale herself on one of our spike traps. Beautiful. With both refugees gone, I send Rue and Burrow Digger to loot everything worth carrying. Plain leather, food, and the pet rabbit. As the settlement burns to the ground behind them, the Gay Nomad Mice roll on to their next chapter. In the new area, I immediately start converting what looks like to be some old ruins into our temporary settlement. It's mostly stone, which means it won't burn down like the last place, so that's already an upgrade. I slap on some wooden walls to seal it in and at least give Rue and Burrow Digger a place to crash. Halfway through the renovations, Cassandra decides it's raid time. Just one Mousekin with a blunderbuss. Perfect. Once we drop him, Rue finally gets himself a real gun. Burrow Digger takes a beating in the raid, but we patch him up and he's fine. Then Cassandra throws up another refugee quest, except this one's for Anal Camp. Yes, the same settlement we abandoned and, well, left burning. Apparently, the refugees are living there now, but don't ask me how. Either way, it's not really our problem here. The ruins are finally shaping up. We've laid down proper wooden flooring, and with a steady diet of berries and wild meat, the colony is now self-sufficient without even bothering with farming. A true nomad. Then, of course, the game asks us what to name the settlement, and really there's only one choice: Anal Camp 2, the sequel. Next up, a raid from the Trosma Union. He has magic abilities which should be terrifying, except he never actually uses them, and so either our Rimworld magic mod is broken or the AI is just profoundly stupid. Either way, he just walks straight into a strike trap and dies instantly. There's no fireballs or spells or anything, he just dies. As you can see, we're slowly upgrading Anal Camp 2 into a fortress. The base walls now have 2 layers. This way, raiders are funneled into the spike traps instead of wasting their time chipping away at the walls. Eventually, I plan to add on a 3rd layer so they're forced into the spike trap maze. A new quest arrives. Sexton's hers. The colonist flees from rabid rabbits, yet the animals are dispatched easily. Sexton joins the settlement. He's an architect with a high construction skill. He completes the sandstone floors and construction of his quarters begins. With 3 capable builders, the colony's progress accelerates. Next, Cassandra sends in a mad buffalo. It charges the base, then bashes a fence, then hits a spike trap and gets gunned down. Rue turns it into meat, and then within the same minute a mad ibex ram. The same story, it charges and dies. At this point, I think Cassandra has realized that mad animals are just pointless against us. They don't even reach the colonists, they just politely queue up to die. Then a transport pod crash delivers Roth, who is paralyzed and helpless. Naturally, we take her in, and place her bed right in the spike trap hallway. Instant bait for any raiders, but don't worry, she's not completely useless. She's great at mining and cooking, and... Then there's Sexton. He's, well, sickly. Of course, he comes down with the plague. Nobody in the colony is remotely competent at medicine, so we give it a shot, but his immunity just can't keep up. He dies, and just like that, we dig him a grave, drop him on, and, well, that's it. Wonderful. As though Cassandra heard Sexton die, she immediately sends us a replacement. Another colonist, 90 years old, perfect. Sure, he's level 12 in mining, but that doesn't stop him from being a walking liability. He takes over Sexton's old bed, and honestly, I don't expect him to last long. If disease doesn't get him, he's probably going to die in his sleep. Then we get a raid. 4 raiders this time, one of them packing an auto pistol. It looks like it's going to be a tricky one. 2 raiders actually make it through the spike traps and start beating on Rue and Burrow Digger and Mai. Luckily they've dropped quickly, and the auto pistol guy turns out to be a terrible shot. He panics and flees the moment his friends hit the dirt. Our mice patch themselves up, but Ty, our 90-year-old miner, just collapses in his bedroom from asthma. Not dead, just useless. Wonderful. That's what happens when your best skill is being old. Well, Ty is still bedridden, and honestly, he's basically just a decorative corpse at this point. If we keep him, he will continue to eat food and contribute nothing, but if we get rid of him, the colony gets a mood debuff. So, the really only solution to this is surgery, maybe a lung transplant, but we need lungs first. Well, we'll see what happens next time, shall we? I hope you enjoyed this episode. Goodbye.